Hi everyone! Film photography is making a comeback, but so does vinyl records and, on a smaller scale, the cassette. And a few days ago I was in a pawn shop and found this Ricatech PR1980 radio cassette. And I said, well, maybe I should give this a try. And I'm gonna review this with you. This is definitely a 1980s radio cassette with the fake chrome, the chrome domes on the speakers and the metal grid in front of them. X-Bass, we'll see about this. On the top of the machine we have the function selector for tape, USB and radio, the band switch, the tuning control, all the push buttons for the cassette, tone control, bass and treble, volume, and on top of that, the module for USB capability, USB MP3. Well, Ricatech calls it the USB SD 3-band radio cassette Ghettoblaster. Well, the Ghettoblaster, well, you can imagine someone blasting rap music during the 80s, but no, a Ghettoblaster to me is more like something like this, something huge and powerful. This is more likely something you would carry along for going camping or to use in your office or your workshop. But the main reason people buy something like this is probably the cassette nowadays. And we're gonna have a look. It uses a Tanashin mechanism. It's pretty ubiquitous, and it was ubiquitous during the 90s. This is a sharp MIDI system from the 90s using the same mechanism, or my TIAC cassette deck right here using the same mechanism. Pretty ubiquitous and pretty popular on low-end entry-level cassette machines. But don't get fooled by the twin speakers. This is a mono head and a mono machine. It's not stereo, it's mentioned nowhere. But what about the sound quality? I'm not gonna use this cassette for copyright reasons, but I prepared this one, which I recorded some YouTube library tunes, and we're gonna check this out right now. Okay, now we're gonna plug this in. To do this, you have this connector on the back side and this on and off switch. I've seen machines sold online without this switch. I guess it's something to do with Europe, but in any case, I'm gonna use this now with a cassette. So, okay, tape function, we're gonna eject it. It looks like it's a hydraulic eject, but it's not. And they just put some tech grease inside to slow it down. It works, but it's not hydraulic. And right now I'm gonna put the cassette in, fast forward. I don't know about you guys, but I was expecting something much worse than that. I was expecting a thinny sound and not something very powerful. But keep in mind that the volume control is kind of tricky. As soon as you turn it up, well, it's getting loud, so not very progressive. But all in all, the sound quality, I would say it's okay. That is what you would expect from something like this. Now we're gonna use the radio. Well, we have this cute antenna. Okay, so I'm gonna turn the volume down.
On perd de cette saveur. Et là, je suis en train de revenir à quelque chose que je pense qui est plus pur, mais qui n'est pas une invention dingue.
On the side here you have this headphone connector, and although the machine is mono, you get sound in both ears, so it's okay. Obviously, I cannot reach some stations in AM, but for FM, it has a good sensitivity, and obviously, I try to avoid copyright strikes, but here it is on Talk Radio.
D'une femme?
Ou d'un homme, ou de ce que vous voulez.
C'est vrai qu'il faut préciser.
Vous l'avez dit tout à l'heure, sinon on va avoir des ennuis ici.
Ouais, non,
je fais pas toutes les hypothèses.
J'aurais pu être amoureux d'un homme.
It sounds good, but for the radio, well, it's good enough. Now, let's give this a try with the USB MP3 capability. Okay, now I'm gonna use this SD card with the YouTube library files onto it. I'm gonna switch to USB, and you can barely hear something. So it seems like there is a bug. So if you switch from tape to USB, well, it's not gonna work fine. But if you switch from radio to USB, and it works fine, so what is there to expect? Okay, now I'm gonna try to record something from the USB onto the cassette and check the recording quality. So I'm gonna switch to radio and then to USB. Okay, it's playing. Pause, play record, and there we go. Okay, now stop. Yeah, the recording quality ain't very good. So if you plan on buying something like this to create your own mixtape from USB or SD cards, you may not enjoy the full potential of the cassette. So what are my final thoughts on the Ricatech PR1980? If you plan on getting this to play back some pre-recorded cassettes or cassette recorded yourself, well, the sound quality is pretty decent. I kinda like this. The radio is also pretty decent, with a good sensitivity for FM radio, and the MP3 player, well, what would you expect? It's an MP3 player, it's digital, so it's gonna be okay. If you plan on using this for recording, well, you might want to get something a little bit better. But I think the main reason you might want to get something like this is the nostalgia factor. And it's pretty high in here. It looks like a 1980s machine, despite the presence of USB stick that is a telltale of a modern day machine. And it works fine. I mean, it's not that expensive. I've seen them being sold online for 40 bucks brand new. And yeah, it's a cool little machine. Something you might want to display in your office, your bedroom, or anywhere. And although this is not the best machine in the world, I like it. In any case, that's all I've got for you today. As always, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like or a comment down below, and I will catch you next time. Goodbye.